Previously on Star Trek Morningstar.
So my family are a generational Navy family, and my mum and sister, Jennifer, have the Navy legacy mindset that has been passed down through the generations. And let's just say that it's got to the point where any deviation from that legacy is, for lack of a better word, dishonorable. My dad was a neutral party. He agreed with the generational Navy legacy, but his head was in the 25th century. He accepted my life choices and supported me. And Amelia said something. She said she was a lesbian. And my god, did Mum lose her shit.
I just wish I had a connection like that. I haven't had that in a long time.
Why don't you come visit? I'm sure the crew would welcome you with open arms. I'd love for you to be part of the family I've built here. Sounds amazing. What's her name?
USS Morningstar.
What? Fuck off. You're pulling my leg.
Not at all. The ship you've been watching being built for the last 2 years is your ship.
Why me? Surely I'm not that deserving of it. Am I?
Michael, the Morningstar is a special ship. Only that person is worthy of commanding the Morningstar. And that person is you.
Captain's personal log, stardate 25110315.10. I don't quite think I could have predicted the last few weeks. I'm still shocked and annoyed about James. Part of me wants to hate him. But then there's a slightly larger part of me that feels sorry for him not being able to come back to my life. Then there's Gabriel. Michael, you dumb fuck. Not only did Starfleet train you not to make judgments like that, but it's fucking Gabriel. If you actually stop and think for a second, you should know he's not capable of what you accused him of. And now there's Amy. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to be speaking to her after so long. But I was almost over what happened with Jennifer, and then Amy brings her up again. Oh well, let's just deal with things as they come. And today, I've got a biggie to deal with.
Bridge to Captain Hunter. We're approaching Starbase 113.
And log. On my way. Captain's log, stardate 25110315.10. The Morningstar is set to stop at Starbase 113 to make a supply restock and transport aboard 4 visitors. A tactical advisor from command as part of a small inspection and observation program. My sister Amelia, who I was talking to a week ago about coming on board. And my parents, who are en route to the Starfleet shipyards at Zinda 2. This should be interesting.
So, are you excited?
What do you think?
I don't know what you're on about, Mike.
There's a reason why I sent Vico down to escort 2 of our guests from Transporter Room 1, and why 2 of them are being transported here.
It will be fine. Besides, look on the bright side. You are the captain. So if you need to, you have every right to tell them to shut the fuck up and piss off.
I guess.
Here they come. Transport in progress.
Guys, welcome on board the Morningstar.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Amy, it's good to see you finally.
Same, it's good to see you too.
And you, sir... I'm afraid Command didn't provide your name.
Oh, no worries. I'm Advisor Minyal Hozel.
Right. And again, if you don't mind my asking, how long will you be on the Morningstar?
Well, usually these things take a couple of weeks or so, but the only other definitive answer would be until Starfleet says otherwise.
I see. Well, seeing as you'll be here a little while then, if you'd like, you can go say hi to everyone. Lieutenant Commander Tapri will be up in a sec, and then she'll escort you down to your quarters and we'll talk later.
Sounds good to me.
Right then, On to you. It's good to see you after so long.
Same, it's good to see you too. Well, Mike, aren't you going to introduce me?
Sorry? Ah, yes! Amy, this is my first officer, Commander Uno.
Wait, you mean the Uno? Your Uno?
That's right.
Oh my god, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've been waiting to talk and get to know you for ages.
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
Although, one quick question. Where's Mum and Dad?
Well, about that.
And this is the bridge where I assume. Ah, there he is. Captain!
You're about to find out. Thank you, Vico. Could you escort the advisor down to his quarters?
Yes, sir.
Well, Dad, Mum, welcome aboard the Morningstar.
Thank you, Mike. It's an impressive ship you've got.
Thank you.
Although I do have to ask, when we came on board, why didn't Amelia or that officer transport with us?
Well, I am the captain of this ship, which means what I say goes, and you can't do anything about that. I transported you separately so that I could postpone meeting Mum for as long as I could. And just so you are fully aware, Mum, on this ship, I have full jurisdiction. So if you feel like stepping out of line, I have full authority to confine you to your quarters, or, and I've been waiting to say this for so long, kicking your ass into the brig. Is that understood?
Perfectly.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page. Uno, could you take Amelia down to her quarters while I discuss my parents' mission with them in my ready room?
By all means. This way.
Shall we? Right then, so, what exactly is your mission?
Did Starfleet Command not tell you?
All I've been told is that you are required at the Zinda 2 shipyards.
All right. Are you aware of the Miriam border conflicts?
Yes, I am. It's the border battles in the Miriam asteroid belt between Zinda 2, Jarek's world, and Estrom. For 5-10 years is it now? They've all been violating the borders for territorial control.
Not quite. We've been informed that 7 years ago all their planets had settled on border agreements, but recently the Jarks are claiming that they have historical rights to parts of the Zindarian and Estrom territories.
And what? They're sending you in as diplomats?
No. They're sending us in as military tactics advisors to assist with ship developments better designed for border patrols. They're developed in the extension yards that have been designed to accommodate ship development of this scale.
Very well. Well, we won't be departing straight away. We've got a few supplies waiting for us at the starbase. And as I haven't asked you yet, Dad, how's things? What have you been up to?
We are fine, Michael. And as you can probably guess, we haven't been doing much, seeing as there's not much work for the Navy and Starfleet these days, so we take what we can get.
I have a suggestion for you. There are a few starships that would benefit from 2 loyal Navy officers.
Thank you for the suggestion, Mike, but we'd prefer to work where there's a natural gravity field, and where you can get real food.
Oh well, I can't say I didn't try. I'll get Vico to escort you to your quarters. Hunter to Vico, please report to my ready room.
Thank you, Mike. At some point on this trip, before we leave, we'd like to sit down with you, Amelia, and your first officer to talk and catch up.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
Thank you.
Come.
You asked for me, sir?
Could you escort my parents to their quarters?
Certainly, sir.
See you later.
See you, Mike.
Hunter to Uno. I'd like to see you and Amelia in my ready room, please.
No, sorry, out of the question.
Amelia, I have the same concerns as you do. But Dad will be there, I'll be there, and Una will be there. I know you're scared of Mum, but at least we'll be there together.
Okay, but if she's too much herself, I'm not staying.
Deal.
Reynolds to Hunter.
Go ahead.
All supplies are on board, and Starbase 113 is giving us the all clear to depart.
Understood. On my way. Jason, are we ready for departure?
Aye, sir. All decks reporting ready.
I already have a course set for Zender 2. Warp 5?
Sinaf, you read my mind. Punch it.
What are you doing?
Just sending a message to my parents, letting them know we'll meet them for food in about an hour. Is that good to you? Amy?
Sure.
Great. Captain's personal log supplemental. I'm about to head off with Amelia and Una to the captain's mess to have dinner with my parents. Suffice it to say, we're not looking forward to it.
So then, Mike, how do you manage to command this beauty of a ship?
My commanding officer, Admiral Vanacham Air. I was her first officer on board the USS Carter, my previous posting. I served with her for 5 years, in which she must have thought my service was exemplary. Because the next thing I know, she's talking to me about getting myself a crew for this new ship I'm commanding.
Well done, son. Although I do have to ask, what class of ship is this? I've seen a lot of starship specs, but when we were told what ship we would be taking us, I didn't recognize it.
Well, on blueprints and on pad, it is the Morningstar variant of the Odyssey class. But officially, it's a new class of ship called the Morningstar class. Hence the name of the ship.
I see. Why is that? If you don't mind asking, that is.
Of course not. From what I understand, this ship has parts from 2 different ship classes, but they have the same design. The chevron and the nacelles are from the Odyssey class, and the secondary hull and nacelle pylons are from the Sojourner class, and that's where the Morningstar variant comes from. But this ship has new technologies, and by Starfleet standards, it's its own completely brand new ship, and that's why it's officially called the Morningstar class.
Right, and when did it leave the dry dock for the first time? In other words, how long have you been serving on her?
Since she came out of dry dock. When I was a commander, I'd sit by the windows at ESD and look over the dry docks and just watch it being built. I was even standing looking at it through the ESD docking platform windows half an hour before Admiral Manane promoted me to captain.
Amazing. And again, sorry, I'm just so interested. Why did she pick you?
She said that the Morningstar is a brand new ship, the first of her kind. She said it was a special ship, one of the most advanced Starfleet has. She said that only someone who really cared about their career, about Starfleet, the Federation, and upholding everything that the Federation is to the best of their ability, and doing whatever it takes to make the galaxy a better place, deserves to command her. And she chose me. That is something I'll be forever grateful for. She is one of the kindest people I've met. I don't think I'd be where I am if it wasn't for her.
Well, from what I've heard, you've certainly lived up to that.
Thanks.
Now, on to some more important business. It's very nice to finally sit down and talk to you, Commander.
Please, call me Unor.
Of course. So how did you two meet then?
Well, it was on a starbase. My first ever posting. And your second posting?
Well, first official posting. There was one before that, but that was a temporary assignment.
Ah, yes, I remember, you told me. But yes, we met on Starbase 145. With a lot of Vulcans.
Ah, yes. Mike said you weren't a follower of Surak's teachings.
No, I'm not. I mean, I admire him, but I don't follow the whole path of logic. It didn't help that my father's a politician and publicly announced that his daughter was a disappointment to Vulcan society. Which didn't help me on Starbase 145. With other Vulcans who followed Sarek's teachings. It got so bad that they crowded me once and wouldn't let me walk away.
Which is when I spotted her and told the Vulcans to go suck an egg. We then became quick friends, and then to the point where I couldn't imagine my life without her.
Well, I'm very happy for you. And sorry for you, Unor, that you had to deal with that. Why did your father do that?
He's oh, what is that human saying? Yes. He's a hardcore Logic fan. But not that 21st century music artist.
I see. And what about you, Amelia? How have you been?
Honestly, not good. I've been travelling around the galaxy trying to fit in somewhere, but I found nowhere. Because when people try to get to know me, I put up walls and block them out of fear. Fear that they won't accept me for who I am. And you know who I have to thank for that? You. Because you kicked me out and made me feel worthless.
Abby?
Like there's something wrong with me.
Abby, this isn't going to end well.
And you know what? That sucks, because I'm pretty sure that the majority of the galaxy are nice, accepting, non-judgmental people.
Abby?
And I push people away because of something that a single individual did out of billions in the galaxy. I only have one thing to say to you.
I really wouldn't if I were you.
You cunt.
Excuse me?
Mum, remember what I said earlier?
After all I've done for you.
Oh, I guess not.
And then for you to just call me a cunt. After I did my best to get you, both of you, into a proud family legacy, for you to just throw it back at me with your Starfleet and your LGB whatever. I'm ashamed to hear the name Hunter, if that family includes you in it. And if you think for a moment, Commander, that I will ever let you marry him and let an alien in this family, then you are more stupid.
Okay, Mum, shut the fuck up. You crossed the line with Amelia, and now you're miles over.
I'm sorry.
Hunter to security. I need a team in the captain's mess. For the second time in our lives, you insult my sister, your daughter, again. And you also insult Unor. That I will not stand for. That is something I will not tolerate on this ship.
Sir?
Please take Mrs. Hunter and throw her in the brig until we arrive at Zeta 2.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Mike.
You don't have to apologize. It's not your fault.
Commander, we are 5 minutes out from Zender 2.
Thanks. I'll inform the captain. Bridge to Hunter. We'll arrive at Zender 2 in about 5 minutes. Shall I inform the brig to let Amanda out so she can get ready to leave?
Go for it.
Aye, sir. Brig, this is Unor. You can release Amanda Hunter back to her quarters.
Acknowledged. Ma'am, you're free to go. Ensign Havant will escort you to your quarters.
Oh, how kind of you.
Oh, you're back. Is it worth me asking if you learnt your lesson in that cell?
What do you think?
That'll be no, then. Come on, pack your things. We'll be arriving at Zinder soon. I have to ask, what happened to you? What happened to that lovely, sweet, kind, compassionate woman I fell in love with? Because of recently, I feel like there have been times when I've looked at you and I've seen a completely different person.
You know what happened? I had kids. 3 of them, in fact, and 2 of them which shat on my family's legacy. And what did you do to help me fix it? 'Cause I can't quite... yes, nothing. When Michael was going off to Starfleet Academy and I was trying to show him the benefits of being in the Navy and carrying on a tradition that's been in the Hunter family for generations, did you help me? No. Instead, you said to him, and I quote, "It's the 24th century, Mike. Do whatever makes you happy." When Amelia said she wanted to be a scientist, go explore the galaxy for new forms of life, did you help me? No. Instead, you said to her, and I quote, "It's the 24th century, Amelia. Do whatever makes you happy." And then, added to that, her coming out as lesbian or whatever. The only one of our children who hasn't made me want to scream in regret was Jennifer.
Let me tell you something you'll probably never understand. It doesn't matter what profession our children choose or what their sexuality is, as long as they enjoy their life and are successful. I mean, look at Michael. He's the captain of the flagship of a fleet. How can you not be proud of that?
It's not the Navy. At least it's not the Navy I was brought up to love and fight for. Something else is bothering you, isn't it? What?
He's going to find out.
Who's going to find out what?
Michael. He's going to find out what we're actually doing here. Believe it or not, he's smart like that.
It'll be fine. He won't find out. That is, of course, if you don't tell him. But I know you won't, because we both know what happens if you do.
Bridge to Dylan and Amanda Hunter. If you could make your way to Transporter Room 1, we'll arrive at Zinder 2 in a few seconds.
All will be okay, honey. All will be okay.
Captain, we have arrived at Zinder 2.
Holy crap, that's massive. I bet Stellar would have a field day if he went down there.
Well, lucky for him then.
Sorry? Why is Stellar going down?
Because I asked him to join me.
Wait, you're going down too?
Yes.
Why?
Because the fact that Dad and Mum, specifically Mum, have come to the shipyard as military advisors is... well, I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. Mum has made it quite clear that anything outside the Earth's atmosphere, she couldn't care less about. That makes it all the more important that I find out what she's doing here.
Okay, just be careful.
I will. Mitchell, please meet me in Transporter Room 1.
On my way.
Captain's Log Supplemental. The Morningstar has arrived at the Zinder 2 shipyards, and 2 of our passengers will be beaming down shortly. And seeing as how the Morningstar has nowhere else to be in a hurry, and Lieutenant Stella has expressed an interest in taking a look around the shipyards, I have decided to accompany the advisors to have a look at what's being built here.
Ah, Mr. and Mrs. Hunter. It's good to see you. Dylan and Amanda, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent. Well, it's lovely to finally see you. And Captain Hunter, I believe?
That's right.
Forgive me if I sound disrespectful, sir, but what are you doing here? We weren't informed you'd be accompanying the advisors.
Oh, not at all. Well, it was a last-minute decision. This place is rather interesting, and it would be a field day for my chief engineer. So I thought, as we were here, we would come along and have a look around. Unless it's a problem.
Not at all, Captain. If you could all follow me this way?
So, if I may, Lieutenant...
Jomish. Lieutenant Marit Jomish.
Ah, right. So, if I may, Lieutenant Jomish, what exactly is being done here that requires Mr. and Mrs. Hunter's expertise?
I thought I told you already.
You did, but as a captain, I have to make sure I have all the facts right. So, Miss Jomish?
Absolutely. Skirmishes along the borders in the asteroid belt are increasing in both size and lethality for the past few years, so we had to upgrade the patrol ships' defenses, but the shipyards, as they were a year ago, weren't able to hold the workload being done to those ships. So, a few months ago, we started building this extension, and we finished about 2 weeks ago, and the work crews have been upgrading the ships ever since.
Okay. And this may sound like a stupid question, so just bear with me on this. I'm aware that sometimes these ships have to enter combat, but as patrol ships, they are optimized for defense, right?
Of course. This ship, for example, the USS Virgo, the standard for this ship, along with every other ship docked here, is that 75% of the ship's main power goes to defensive systems, such as shields, hull plating, and the deflector dish. And 35% of the power goes to offensive systems, such as phasers, torpedoes, etc.
Okay. Well done, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir. In fact, this is the ship that requires Dylan and Amanda's attention. Would you like to join us?
Sir, could you come here quickly?
Go inside. I'll have a look around out here.
Aye, sir. This way, please.
Mitchell, you found something?
Possibly. Either he's telling the truth and someone uploaded the wrong schematics to the computer, or he's full of shit. Because if these schematics are anything to go by, these ships aren't being optimized for defense. It's the complete opposite.
They're not being prepped to disable. They're being prepped to destroy. Okay, Stella, see if you can get these to the Morningstar. Then, I want you in there. See if you can get any more intel about what's going on here. If you can, without being spotted or suspicious, see if you can tail and listen in on my parents. And if anyone asks, as Chief Engineer of the 2nd Fleet, you have the authorization to be on board. Understood?
Aye. See you later.
Captain Hunter?
That's me.
I'm Commander Bolton, commander of this facility. Mineo didn't mention that you'd be coming.
I'm not here on official business. Just dropping off some passengers, and I thought I'd have a quick visit.
Oh, well, I hope you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah. You see, that's not happening. Because I'm kinda concerned.
About what?
I've been made aware by Lieutenant Jomish that all ships built here are built to be optimized for defense by standard, correct?
Of course.
Well, you see, that's the issue. On that console over there, my chief engineer found schematics for ships optimized for large offensive capabilities. Now, I hope that your officer is right and that there's a problem with your computer system. Because if not, I'll have to report this to Admirals Tanner and Mineo. Will that be necessary?
No, not at all. I'll make sure the situation is dealt with swiftly.
Good. In that case, that'll be all, Commander.
So, as you can see, this ship is capable of withstanding a full assault from...
You can cut the crap now, we're safe. Now just tell me with a simple yes or no, is the plan on schedule?
Yes.
Good.
Possibly.
What?
The power output you want for the weapons is quite large. We've done what we can, but I doubt it'll be stable when fired.
As long as we can destroy enough of them to send a message, everything will be fine.
I knew it. I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Michael? What is wrong? What did you know?
I had a hunch. A hunch that my parents weren't simple military advisors, and, well, they are, but not to the extent that they claimed.
Then what are they advisors for?
A war.
Okay. Shall we talk about this in your ready room? You know, in private?
Good point. Let's go.
So what are you on about a war?
When we were down there, Stella took a look at some schematics on a nearby console, and if he was able to... Ah, yes! Look here. Apparently, these ships, being patrol ships and all, are supposed to be designed and optimized for defensive capabilities.
Well, that looks like a bald-faced lie.
I know. I just want to know what it is they're being optimized on the offensive for. Come. Mitchell! Did you find anything?
Yeah, and it's in no way good.
Destroy them to send a message. What message?
I don't know, but I had to get out of there. Everyone around was giving me weird and funny looks.
Right. before we do anything else, Commander, I want you to go and work with Jason to try and find out A, who uploaded those schematics to the computer, and B, if you can find and download any footage or recordings of my parents' conversation with the lieutenant.
Aye, sir.
Mitchell, see if you can get a hold of any more blueprints or schematics, and have a look at exactly how much damage these ships can do.
On it.
Start a war? Mum and Dad? I mean, Dad isn't the type of person to do this, and yes, I know Mum is a prick, but I could never imagine them doing anything like this.
I think it's due to the fact that Mum is hardcore into the family Navy legacy. So much so that she doesn't much care for anything outside the Earth's atmosphere, which still doesn't make sense. But apart from duty to the service, I've never heard of any hunter ever doing what they're doing.
Well, whatever happens, I'm sure you'll figure something out.
Thanks. Could you head back to the bridge? I need to contact the Admiral.
Sure.
Computer, get me Admiral Vanacha Moneo at Starbase 50.
Michael, how can I help you?
Listen, there's something I need to discuss with you.
I don't believe this. Zinder 2. Although it does make some sense.
How so?
Starfleet comms traffic operators contacted me the other day to tell me that those yards have been receiving a lot of transmissions from the EPCCS.
The Earth's planetary civilian communication satellites?
Yes. And transmissions do all trace back to the residence of Amanda and Dylan Hunter. And I know I shouldn't do this, but I trust your judgment. And these blueprints alone are at least enough to bring them in for questioning. And I want you to bring them in. Can you do that?
With pleasure.
Damn it!
I thought you'd ordered tighter security.
I did. Obviously it wasn't enough.
It's fine. Right now, all I have are a few blueprints. They can't do anything with that.
You're right, we can't. But combine that with the numerous transmissions sent from the residence of Amanda and Dylan Hunter, and it's enough for me to kick your asses into the brig and haul them back to Starbase 50 for questioning.
On whose authority?
On the authority of Admiral Vanacha Moneo.
Hey, Sandre, could you pass me that pad over there, please?
Sure. Intel on the USS Virgo? I thought all of that was sorted, more or less. I thought you'd figured out what was going on.
We have. There are just a few things I wanted to make sure of. Thank you. Now you see, there are these conduits, but what are they for?
Is there any way I can help? I mean, I'm no engineer, but...
Sure, by all means.
Let's have a look. Do you have schematics for ships not being built in the extension yards?
The computer might have some.
Thanks. Huh. That's odd.
What?
Look at this. Do you notice the difference?
No.
Look closely. Computer. Enlarge both key sections of the blueprints. See it now?
The new ships don't have bridges, which means... Oh, that's what that conduit is for. It's a timer, and it's only got 3 minutes left. We need to take this to the captain.
All done.
Yep. Mum and Dad are in the brig, as is Commander Bolton. Is everything ready for departure?
Confirmed. All decks report ready.
Right then, Senaf, take us... Mitchell? Sandre? What's going on?
Well, there's not much time to explain. We were looking over the schematics of the ships at the yards, and long story short, those new ships have no bridge. They're more like drone ships, and they're on a timer that's going to run out in about just over a minute.
Do you know what the target is?
It's a long shot, but I assume, given everything that's happened recently, the target is Jarek's world.
Is there any way to stop the countdown?
Maybe, but we have less than a minute before those ships are released.
Alright, Senaf, bring us in to do a flyby of the extension yards. Vico, Be ready to rain hell on those ships.
Aye.
Engage! Captain's log supplemental. After taking Commander Bolton and my parents into custody and destroying the drone ships, the Morningstar has arrived at Starbase 50 to begin questioning.
Here's the report you asked for, Admiral.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Bring it to me later, okay? Captain, you're back. With the prisoners, I assume?
Bring him in, Vico. 1 Dylan Hunter, 1 Amanda Hunter, and 1 Commander Bolton.
Well, I'm shocked. Of all the people and all the officers to get swept up in something like this, I never thought you'd be one of them, Bolton. Such a shame. Tapery, could you take these guys down to the brig? And I'm afraid due to the destruction of the shipyards that you'll have to go down for questioning as well, Hunter.
What?
You destroyed the Zinder 2 shipyard extensions without authorization.
I do a lot of things without authorization, and I never get sent in for questioning.
Michael, in this scenario, jurisdiction falls to Tanner. And I'm sorry, but you could lose your career for this.
What? But you can't do that. Oh, you sneaky son of a bitch.
Captain?
You wanted to get me out of Starfleet. And you laid the perfect bloody trap.
Michael, what are you on about?
Well, when I heard that my parents
were...
for
God's sake, I'll tell them. Seeing as your mum used Admiral Tanner's disliking of you to make sure there was no getting out of this.
Remember what I said?
I do. And to be quite frank, it doesn't mean much anymore. Because one way or another, you are going to prison and she'll be safe.
Mr. Hunter, what's going on?
Amanda doesn't like Starfleet. And the fact that her son is a part of it makes her hate it even more. So, a few months ago, she contacted Admiral Tanner here to assign Michael to this mission of transporting us to the shipyards, knowing full well that when we told them what we were doing, he would get suspicious and follow us. Then, along with the help of some of the personnel at the yard, such as Mr. Bolton, we could set out all that evidence for him to find. The blueprints, us in the corridor, the fact that there were drone ships on a timer, all that lot. She set everything up to make Michael destroy the shipyards, which is the act that would get Michael barred from service. And, like I said, Admiral Tanner was into this to make sure Michael couldn't be saved. But there was one factor you didn't count on. Me. I did love you once, but that was before you kicked Amelia out of the house and basically tore our family apart. Which is why it was easy to betray you, so to speak, to keep my son happy and safe. And yes, there is the possibility, however small, that my mother would be removed from her care home, but I'm sure that now Starfleet knows the whole story, I may get some assistance with that.
Absolutely, we can do that. But hold on, those ships weren't built for an attack on Yarick's world. Bolton contacted me a year ago to tell me he needed the ships for the borders.
That's right. It was a convenient coincidence. We used them, along with our reason for being on this mission, which Tanner gave us, to make it seem that there was a planned attack.
I'll be asking you about this later, Rich.
So, is that enough?
It matches up with a lot of what we found. Yes, it's enough. Tapery, take Mrs. Hunter and the commander down to the brig.
Yes, sir.
I hope I don't have to have you escorted there as well, Richard, but I will if I have to.
I'll go. Don't worry.
Mr. Hunter, come here. I assume by the confession that you're disassociating yourself from your involvement in all of this?
Let's just say I was roped in by an unhealthy relationship.
You can say that again.
Mr. Hunter, normally I wouldn't do this, but seeing as you were roped in, didn't really have a say, and gave a quick and detailed summary of the plan to help your son here, I'm going to let you go. but with a warning that if you ever get involved in something like this again, unless there is crystal clear evidence, you will be arrested.
I understand. Thank you.
And again, we will do everything we can to take care of your mother.
You were right, Michael. She's very kind. You're lucky to have her as your commanding officer.
I know.
Right. Well, if that's all, I have a daughter I need to apologize to.
Of course. See you around.
And all I want to say is, I'm so sorry, Amelia, for what I've put you through. And if I've caused you any pain in any way...
I forgive you. But it really wasn't your fault.
I know, but I just feel responsible for what she's done.
Well, don't. 'Cause you know why? I may have only known you for about a day, but from our discussion at dinner and the things Michael has told me, you are too much of a great man to take responsibility and guilt for someone else's idiotic choices.
Thank you, Unor. That means a lot. You've done well, Michael. Got yourself a hearty one.
I know. I can hardly believe it sometimes.
Well, I'll be off. There's some things I need to sort out on Earth.
You sure we can't give you a lift?
I'm sure, but thanks for the offer.
Anytime.
Oh, and Michael, on second thought, you wouldn't be able to send me the contact info for those ships that could use a loyal Navy officer, would you?
When I have a spare 5 minutes, I'll get right on it.
Thanks. Later's all.
Well then. Will you be staying on board for a while longer, or will you be leaving too?
I'll be staying for a while longer. We spent far too many years apart to leave after one day.
Well then, let's get moving. The Morningstar has been ordered to the Ortan system to give aid after a supervolcano erupted a few months ago.
That sounds horrible.
It is. Starfleet has been trying to find ways of clearing the atmosphere of all the ash so that teams can get to the surface.
It's like when the Yellowstone volcano erupted in America in the mid-21st century. Except this time we have a much better way of getting rid of all the ash.
Well, that sounds good.
It is. Course laid in enough?
Yes, and speed set to warp 8.
You're on fire, Lady Sanaf. Engage.